Good morning, y'all. It's Leah from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Today is Saturday, October 16th. Look at this Rhode Island Red standing on the drinker, looking around. The Rhode Island Reds are always first to the tops of the feeders and drinkers. I don't know why. In any case, on Wednesday, these chickies turned 2 weeks old, and my goodness, they are growing fast and eating a lot. I went through a 40-pound bag of food in 2.5 weeks. That's pretty impressive. Granted, a certain amount of it gets wasted, but nonetheless, these guys are eating like crazy. I can barely keep them filled up. In any case, today I am going to enlist the help of a friend to move the birds to a bigger stock tank because, as you can see, they're getting a little jammed up in here. They're getting big enough that they don't have as much room as I would like them to have. So it gives them a little bit more room for stretching their legs, but more importantly, when birds are squished in too much, they get pretty stressed about it, and then what usually results from that is them picking on each other, which can lead to injuries and some disgustingness, which, as I mentioned earlier, I will get into another time in another video about the results of stress and what that does to chickens. In any case, just a quick little update for the moment, so you can sort of get a feel for the space in here. I mean, we're not completely full up. There's not a lot of birds on this side right now, but you can see how they really are going to need more room, and it couldn't come a moment too soon, especially because I'm needing to put extra feeders in here, and I need to recoup some of that space as well. So I'll update later with the new coop and some other changes, and see you later. Stay tuned. Check it out. So yesterday, with the help of a friend, we got the new chicks into a much bigger stock tank, and this thing is like a palace right now. We'll see how long that lasts, because these babies grow so fast. Everybody seems real happy and calm in here, except when I gotta get in there to do something, of course. In which case I just move as slowly as I can. But we made some other changes in here as well. Well, first I should say that this stock tank, the area of it is almost twice the size of the other one. The other stock tank was a 2x6, and this is a 3x8, so 12 square feet versus 24 square feet, less the corners. And this is working out pretty well. So I made some other changes. So the general rule of thumb for drinkers and feeders for chickens is to leave the trays at about back height. So as the chicks grow, you want to keep adjusting the height of the feeders and drinkers, which is a bit of a pain, but it does make a difference. It also helps reduce some amount of the litter that gets caught in the drinking trays to some degree. So what I've done here, let me just open this so you can see a little better. Hey guys, here I come. Here I come. So I now have these green feeders hanging, and actually I could bring the height up a little bit. I've just been trying to be mindful of the fact that I do have a few chicks in here that are smaller than the others, so I want to make sure everybody can reach. That's working out pretty well. And these nice green feeders are nice because again, I like them because I can get something around the top, and it makes it very easy to hang them. Now, if I was using this style, I mean, this is a drinker, but this style with the feeder base on it that I showed in a previous video, I would need to string it or wire it up the way I have this set up here. So this is my drinker with electrolytes in here. I'm still giving them electrolytes. I don't have to, but I've just chosen to do that. Now, the gallon drinker over there, obviously I can't hang. And even if I had a hanging gallon drinker, I would not hang it in this setup because this top, I don't think is strong enough to support that weight. But I'm thinking about setting up a 2x4 across the width of the brooder, so that way I could hang one. I did just adjust the height of this drinker, which was a little challenging. It was a little low, and so I put a couple of pieces of 2x4 under that Tupperware container that's filled with rocks, so it's nice and heavy, it can't move. But it was a little high, especially for my smaller birds. I just didn't have something that was in between. At least I haven't found anything yet that was at an in-between height. So what I did instead is I just put a couple of 2x4s, pieces of 2x4 at the edges, so that smaller birds have something to stand on so they can reach the tray better. But this is working out quite nicely. I've been meaning to mention as well that chicks require about 6 square inches of space each, but obviously as they grow bigger, the more space they need. So you do need to use your judgment about them having enough room. If they don't have enough room, you will probably start noticing the effects. You'll see chicks starting to peck at each other, and they do peck at each other a little bit, but pecking at each other in a more aggressive way. As I've said a couple of times now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about stress and how chickens act under stress. But sometimes when that happens, especially with chicks, they're growing all of these new feathers, and the feathers are, new feathers are filled with blood. And so sometimes a chick will, pick at somebody else's feather, and then they get a little drop of that blood, and it tastes good to them, so then they continue to pick at other birds. And they're also triggered by red things, so they'll really gravitate to a red spot. That's actually one of the other benefits, by the way, of using these red heat lamps, because it's harder for them to see the red color. It's harder for me to see the red color. So that's the quick update on this new brooder setup. I'm pretty happy with everybody looking nice and peaceful in here. Last night I was looking in and I was imagining being at their level and wandering around in there, and it really did seem like a palatial playground of sorts. So that made me happy. It felt good imagining myself to being a chick in here. Look at this salmon Faverolles that keeps looking at me. Like, what is that? What are you doing? The little blondie. Just walked a little closer. Anyway, that's the update for now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give the video a like. Oh, and don't forget that there are other videos in this playlist. There is part 1, 2, and 3 prior to that. I will leave the links to the videos at the end of this video. Also, you can find them in the Chickens and Eggs playlist on our channel. Okay, take care.